think one of the biggest mistakes doctors can make is getting trapped in the system and relying on medicine as their only source of income. But over the last 8 years, I've co-founded a business worth in excess of £2 million whilst working as an NHS doctor. And if I can do it, so can you. This video isn't about getting rich. It's simply about giving you options. Whilst I think medicine is a fantastic career, I don't think it should be your only one. Whether it's rising living costs, burnout, or simply wanting more flexibility, an additional source of income gives you options. And that's why I think doctors should seriously consider starting a side hustle. Hi, my name's Shoaib and I'm a radiologist based in London. And in this video, I'm going to take you through my entrepreneurial journey, running courses for doctors and the lessons that I've learned along the way. As a fresh-faced F1, I really struggled with the transition from university life to working life. The biggest achievement in my day was pretty much getting in for 9 AM. And then you spend the next 4 hours trailing behind the consultant on the boring ward round, pretending to look interested. The afternoon was filled with admin tasks like collecting blood tests or writing discharge letters. And medicine just wasn't what it was cracked out to be. I wanted something that would challenge my creativity. And if I'm being honest, I wanted the extra bit of income too, because junior doctor salaries really weren't setting my world alight. And I managed to dig out an old payslip from a good few years ago. So the idea of creating some sort of side hustle really appealed to me. And I had to think, what are my skills? I always really enjoyed teaching medical students, teaching other doctors, so that seemed like the natural path for me. So together with a couple of my colleagues, we decided to run OSCE courses for medical students. It seemed like the natural thing to do given our particular skill set. We hired out some rooms in London, we recruited tutors and printed off a handbook, and we were really just hoping that we would cover costs, and thankfully we did. The feedback was fantastic, other students told their friends, and the courses started to grow. Not before long, we were hosting courses in Manchester and we were starting to spread. For the first time I thought maybe this could actually be something bigger, but there was one huge issue. And that was the whole business relied upon us being there in person. If we weren't there, the course simply couldn't run. And that is problematic because it means the business is not scalable. Whilst working as a full-time junior doctor, juggling night shifts, juggling weekend shifts, and then having to go to your course in Manchester to teach, it was really, really challenging. We started to come to this realization around 2019 or 2020, and then before you know it, COVID hit, which completely messed everything up because you couldn't have in-person courses anymore. Rather than seeing it as a setback, we saw it as an opportunity to shift all of our content online. And that was the birth of BiteMedicine, an online platform for medical students. The unique thing about the platform is it had a sense of community with weekly webinars, and at one point we were having hundreds of students from around the world tuning into those. The business started to grow rapidly and we had thousands of pounds coming into the bank account every month. We finally had a scalable business model, and in 2021 we raised £150,000 for around 7%, which valued the company at approximately £2 million. At that point I thought we genuinely cracked it, but COVID ended and students went back to university, and the community and buzz we created started to fade away. It was a wake-up call because we had a tough decision to make. Do we stick with our guns and continue down the medical student route, or do we pivot? Medical students are fantastic customers because they're engaged and they're keen to learn, but they're relatively cash poor, and the market we were in was extremely saturated. The whole business needed rethinking from the ground up. Instead of thinking, what can we sell to medical students, we started to think about what problem are we actually solving. The first answer was obvious. Doctors spend thousands of pounds and years trying to prepare for postgraduate exams, and many of them actually receive a study budget to do so. So what this means is their hospital will actually pay for them to go on courses to help them with their exams. And that's where BitePACES was born. Much like our OSCE-based events for medical students, we simply rehashed that and redesigned it for doctors. So we'd have patients come along, tutors come along, who would then train up the attendees and help them pass their exams. The second problem we identified is that more and more doctors were becoming disillusioned with the NHS and wanted flexibility around their careers, and many actually wanted to transition out of the NHS and into health tech, and that's where BiteLabs was born. We created an 8-week program led by industry experts, helping teach doctors the basic skills they need to survive in health tech and transition into the sector. Looking back, that pivot, moving away from medical students and looking at doctors, is probably what saved the company. And today, BitePACEs and BiteLabs are our two main products which are doing extremely well. And to date, we've taught thousands of doctors from across the globe. So if you're a doctor and you're looking to start a side hustle, I wouldn't be too concerned with the specifics of my journey in particular, but there are a few key takeaways which I think are applicable across the board. And that's number one, don't become fixated on your product that you initially start out trying to build. I think this is something I see so commonly and something we probably fell into early on in our journey as well. People have something they want to build, they think it's the best thing ever, and they become fixated on it. They spend time, money, only to realize months or years down the line that actually it was just completely the wrong thing to do. Rather than becoming fixated on the product, you should become fixated on the problems that people have and the ways in which you can solve them. I think that's a much better way of looking at things and will hopefully avoid you going down a rabbit hole. Number 2 is you need to be flexible in the way you think. So in our instance, we pivoted from BiteMedicine to BiteLabs and BitePACEs, and I think that was thankfully a good decision. The problem with doctors is we are very rigid in the way we think. We follow guidelines, we follow what the consultant tells us to do without little challenge. In the world of business, things just don't work like that. There are no guidelines. You need to be willing to fail and fail fast and move on to the next thing. And I think if you can do that, that will put you in really good stead. And number 3, I would say build something with people you genuinely enjoy spending time with. That will make the whole journey so much more enjoyable. It will stimulate fresh ideas and it will keep you motivated. And that's something I'm very grateful that I got the opportunity to do. My final tip is be willing to take a risk. Medics are generally quite risk averse. We've picked careers which guarantee us income from the day we graduate till the day we retire. But we need to break away from that. And I think one of the main reasons we are risk averse is because in the back of our minds we think, what will others think if I mess up? If there's something I've learned by now, is that people really don't care that much. Take the first step, that's always the hardest one, and the rest is history. So I strongly encourage doctors to be doing something on the side. Look, it doesn't need to be a business like the one I built. It can be investments, it can be properties, it can be stocks, whatever is suited to your skill set. And you definitely do have skills. You've gone through 5 or 6 years of medical school and you're functioning as a competent doctor. You must have some skills which you can put to use. Building my business has given me so much. It's given me fulfillment, it's given me flexibility, and I think the most important thing is it's made me realize that my future isn't tied to my employer. There is a world out there where I can do other things. Well, I hope that was useful, and if you'd like to hear more tips and tricks about how to build a business whilst working as a doctor, do like, share, and subscribe.